Last year at the dinner, David Mandel announced this year's guests of honor. At the same time, he came over to me and informed me that I was going to be the Gala chairman. He didn't ask. I said, okay. And I realized at the time, a year ago, that this was going to be an immense opportunity for me. How often does a son-in-law get to stand in a room filled with people and talk about his in-laws, his father-in-law, and even more so his mother-in-law? It doesn't happen very often. But I was very excited to do that. And for a year, I've been thinking about it. So of course, as things would happen, at this time, I'm going to step aside, and I'm going to give that honor to this year's guests of honor daughter, my wife, Leah Brescher, to come up and introduce this year's guests of honor.
Good evening. Tati and Mommy, as you know, it is difficult to express my feelings in such a public display, but I feel that it is so important for people to understand why this honor goes far beyond this gala and your dedication of the Irving and Miriam Langer Center for Developmental Disabilities. As a mother-in-law, and now a grandmother, I know full well that children have a keen sense of honesty, and just preaching to your children to do the right thing is not nearly enough. You must live it all the time. From day one, you have both been an inspiration, a guide, a role model. You have established a shame toe for yourselves in your home and within the community. Not just in words, but your kindness and honesty is in the fabric of everything you do. Every action is to help others with no benefit to yourself. The best way I can describe the two of you is that you are a modern-day Abraham and Sarah, an open house, warmth for anyone in need, day or night. Abraham had 4 entrances to his tent. You have 8. Of course, you prefer to do everything on a grand scale. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes it is hard when I have to share your time with others, but I take solace in knowing all of that time spent, that everything you do, all your endeavors are selfless and an attempt to make the world a better place for others. I have no doubt that this sense of selflessness was born out of growing up as children of Holocaust survivors. You both saw the sacrifices that Bobbies and Zaidis made, and now you are continuing the legacy of your parents. Placing your name on the new Ohel building is a symbol to all, that this is a place of comfort, stability, and open arms. On behalf of my siblings and entire family, Mazel Tov, thank you so much for all you do. We are so very proud of you.
Please join me in congratulating Ohel's 2017 guests of honor, Irving and Miriam Langer.
Take one this way. Come. This is the Nachem.
It's going to take a while.
Where's Maishi and Nachem?
Maishi Menachem.
Nachem, come here. Come here. Okay.
Irving Langer.
David Brescher. We have a gift for you. It's the Ohel Jaffa Family Campus with a picture of David Brescia batting in the Ohel Dome.
I didn't know we had an Ohel Dome. Thank you. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Okay. Can they close the lights? Close the lights? Ladies and gentlemen, Rishus, my Marida Asra, Harav Hagona Tzaddik Reb David Cohen, who has been my Rebbe, my mentor for 30 some odd years. I want to give Shevach Naidoa that I had the privilege to have a person of his stature, to learn with him once a week, and to gain the insights that he was able to share with me. And for that I will always be grateful, and I hope it continues ad bias Mashiach. Thank you. I would also like to take this opportunity and thank my Eishes Chayil of 47 years, Baruch Hashem, has given me, as you saw, wonderful Yiddish nachas for my children, Leah and Tzi Moshe and Menachem Abraham, and their spouses and my wonderful grandchildren and great-grandchild. And Baruch Hashem, I hope that the next 47 years, if you do the math, it works, that we will have even a better time than the first 47 years, if that's possible. My wife has been very, very supportive on everything that I have done in terms of yeshivas and moistes that I was able to help, Baruch Hashem, and for that I'm also very, very grateful to have her on my side. Thank you, Miriam. I know it's been mentioned many times this evening, but just not enough. The work that Reb Moshe Hellman, the president, and the work that Mel Zachter, the work that David Mandel and the entire board and the wonderful staff of Ohel is beyond, the best of the best. I'd love to give them a round of applause for everything that they do and will do. Fellow honorees, I would like to tell you, first of all, I'm really, truly honored and humbled by being here, standing in front of you. But I would like to tell you a story. I would like to share with you a story of great chesed. There was once upon a time this Mr. Lefkowitz. Mr. Lefkowitz was getting on in years, and he decided that it's best for him to go to a nursing home. Go to a nursing home, have full care, 24 hours, around-the-clock assistance from nurses and doctors, have people his age, have many, many friends that he's going to make, being that he was a very optimistic and positive person, always happy. It would be no problem for him. Aside from the age factor, he also had a dilemma that many, many years ago, he lost the use of his legs, and the only way he can get around is in a wheelchair. And that wheelchair would take him from place to place. He was a comfortable person, so he was the only one in the nursing home who had a private room, a large private room. That wasn't going to be for very long. Next day, the administrator of the nursing home comes over to him and he said, Mr. Lefkowitz, there's a person, Mr. Friedman, who is trying to get into this nursing home, and we don't have any room for him at the moment. We were wondering if for 1 month, if you'd be kind enough to let him stay in your large room. Mr. Lefkowitz, being the nice person that he was, he said, "Absolutely, of course, my pleasure." The next day, they wheeled in Mr. Friedman, and after a few hours, he felt it was time, and he gets down from his bed, makes his way into his wheelchair, rolls over, and he says, "Mr. Friedman, hi." Mr. Friedman does not respond. He says, "I understand you're gonna be my roommate for about a month. I'd just like to welcome you, and I'm sure we're gonna be very, very good friends." No response. He tries to speak and try to be very, very nice. Mr. Friedman says to him, "Listen, I don't want you to bother me. Do me a favor. I'm not in the mood to talk to you. Just go away from my bed." Mr. Friedman rolls away and thinks, this is going to be a little tough, but I'm sure he'll warm up. Sure enough, in the middle of the night, he wakes up to sobbing. It seems like Mr. Friedman is crying. Mr. Friedman, he looks up and he sees across that Mr. Friedman is crying. He gets into his wheelchair, rolls over. He says, "Mr. Friedman, what's wrong? What's wrong?" So he says, "Don't you see? Can't you see what's going on here? I am blind. I have been blinded 5 years ago, and I'm miserable. I cannot see my children. I cannot see my grandchildren. I'm in the dark, and I'm miserable. Leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered by you or anyone else." Mr. Lefkowitz goes back, and he's thinking, what should he do to help this Mr. Friedman who is so down and depressed? Well, sure enough, he rolls back and he says, "Mr. Friedman, I have an idea. In my entire life, I was a painter, and I have a very keen sense of perception on the world, on colors. Let me look out on the window and tell you what I see. Every day, for 2 days, give me, and I'll tell you everything that I see outside. Let me be your eyes. And if you don't like it after 2 days, I will stop." Sure enough, Mr. Friedman says, "You know what? Okay, let's try it out for 2 days." Bright and early in the morning, 5:30, he wakes Mr. Friedman up and he says, Friedman, you got to see this. Outside, there's a pink hue, and to the north there's a cloud. The cloud looks like an elephant. It has a trunk, and is playing with the sounds and the looks of the sun coming up. It's just wonderful to see." And he describes the colors in detail. And then as the day passes on, he describes the children playing in the park. He describes the woman running to make the bus, and the person walking the dog and the color of the dog, and so on and so forth. And this goes on for 1 day, and for 2 days, and for 3 days, and a week, and a month. Mr. Friedman tells him, "You know, I want to thank you. This past month, it's been really an eye-opener, so to speak, for me to see and feel the colors that you have been talking about and telling me about all the people on the outside. I am truly grateful for you, because you have brought light into my life. Where I thought it was gone, you have done something I never thought I would see again." Well, sure enough, Mr. Lefkowitz was very, very happy. The next day, Mr. Lefkowitz is called. Lefky, where are you? I woke up late and you haven't woken me up. What's going on? Lefky, where are you? Doesn't hear a response. So he buzzes the nurse. The nurse comes in and tells him, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Friedman, but last night, Mr. Lefkowitz wasn't feeling well. We took him to the hospital, had a heart attack, and he passed away. And his funeral is going to be 11:30. He was in total shock. He said, "Do me a favor. I want to go to the funeral. Can you make arrangements for me to go there?" Absolutely. But before I go there, do me one favor. Mr. Lefkowitz used to tell me about this woman who's always running late. 9:30, it's about 9:30 now, he told me. About 9:30, she's always running for the bus. And the bus starts taking off, and then the bus driver sees her, and he stops, and she gets on. Can you just tell me if she's making the bus? The nurse looks at him, he says, I don't understand, what is it you want me to do? He says, look in the window, look out the window and tell me if you see the woman making the bus. And she turns to him and she says, Mr. Friedman, this room does not have a window. It's a windowless room. She says, how could that be? How is that possible? How is that possible? He explained everything, I saw everything, even when I was able to see. I could not see as well as I am blind from the way he described everything. It's just not possible. Please take me to the wall. I want to go and see if you're telling me the truth. And he goes and he touches the wall. He glides his hand all along. And sure enough, there are no windows. He tries to compose himself, and he says he wants to go to the funeral. He goes to the funeral. He sees his family there. And he tells the family, I want you to know, if you would know what this person did for me, how he brought me from the darkness to the light, how he opened up my light in my heart, in my mind, that he would have a funeral of thousands of people here. Nobody has done what he has done for me. He has done the work. He is an angel. And may God bless him in the world to come where he belongs. Ladies and gentlemen, when you take someone who has a wall in front of him, and you look beyond that, beyond his physical and mental restraints, you are doing the work of angels. Ohel is doing the work of angels. They are taking people who are in the dark from their pain, and they're going forward with everything possible, every resource possible, to help these children, to help the adults with the addictions, with everything else that comes with today's problems, and they take it head on. They are not afraid of trauma, they are not afraid of pain. They look it head on, they look in your eyes and they look in the soul, and they go into the deep recess to bring out the light and take away that wall and make it into a window. Ohel has done everything possible and continues to do everything that very few organizations today in the world. Every year we win awards for what we do, for what the difficult job and the task on hand of to try to get those awards in the top 10, and we're always on the top 1 or 2. It does not come easy. It comes because there's dedication from the staff and from all the executives above and beyond. They understand what it means to take care of our children. Those mothers, all these wonderful, wonderful mothers, I envy you. I envy you all what you are going to have, Lachamei Ve'esrim, for taking in these wonderful, wonderful children into your homes with your children and take care of them with the love that you give to your children. It's a blessing. My hat's off to you. You deserve every applause possible. And I hope that you continue, and more people will continue to try to be foster parents, because it's extremely exhilarating to the child and to the parent and to the children to see what chinuch is all about, what love is all about. And this is what it is. These children did not ask to be in this position. This is God's choice. Why? We don't know. Perhaps he's just testing us. Perhaps he wants to see how we're going to take care of our brothers and our sisters. But I tell you that with Ohel, Baruch Hashem, we are doing the job, I believe, as best as we can, as best as anybody can. We can't heal everyone, but we can try. We do everything that we possibly can to try our best, and I am sure that we will continue to try our best. And I would like to give everyone a bracha for helping Ohel, and hopefully you will continue to help Ohel. Hopefully you will eventually realize how important this organization is by coming down and seeing what we do. No comparison from hearing to seeing. If you see what we do, you will be enamored and captured with all the wonderful things and the programs that we have for these people. And everyone knows people who have a family that has a situation, one way or the other, friends, family. So I truly hope and I pray that when we go to the Wailing Wall, and it's full of cracks and crevices and tears that we have been crying so very long, that Hashem should help us and build the third Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, with have walls and windows to be able to see the light coming in from Hashem, and we should not need Ohel. Thank you very much.